Hi, my name is Kelsy Colwell, and I am a teacher, a very new teacher from North Central Idaho. I'm from a small town called Kelsy, and I have the privilege of teaching here as well as growing up here. Really excited about some new things that we're doing this year, so I decided to do a video blog on blended learning and doing that with the new curriculum we chose, which was Mathematics Vision Project for our math department here in Kelsy. So let me show you a couple things that I'm doing in my classroom, and then you guys will get to follow me on video and we'll see how well those things work during the year and what things I end up needing to change and kind of my learning and growing process. So these are just a couple of my, what I call them, windows to success. These really have to do with Mathematic Vision Project, the MVP curriculum that we are going to be using this year throughout all of our high school math curriculum. These are just great starters to let the kids know what all this terminology means and what some of the things we're going to be doing. You'll hear me talking about four representations a lot. So in every task in MVP, they really push you to kind of take that real world example and kind of start graphing it or create a model or create a table, but some kind of mathematical representation of that situation. So this starts breaking some things down for the kids. I have one more window in the back as a window for success. Really want to educate my kids. Common Core is new in the state of Idaho, so really want to educate them on MVP, or new curriculum, on Common Core and those shifts. We went to an integrated math situation here, which we've never done that before at Kelsy High School, so I want to educate them about that and what that means. And then we do research projects in my math classroom as well. So I just want to educate my students on the terminology and the different things so that when people start asking them questions, they're knowledgeable about what we're doing in the classroom. And right here on my bulletin board, I really like my students to know where they're going. So right here I have the modules up for each math class and kind of the units they're going to be going through. I think it's kind of nice to kind of check those off in your mind, like, oh, I'm already on 4 and there's only 8, or whatever that's going to be. Okay, next I want to show you some of the systems that I'm going to be using to keep track of my devices, because that's one of the biggest questions I get is, how do you make sure a kid doesn't walk out of a classroom with a device, or with even just a stylus? I mean, if you're buying 100 styluses a year to try to replace those. So what I did is, this is a layout of my desks, and I gave every desk a number. Based on where you sit, that's the number that will be assigned to you for the year. Our principal, Mr. Roberts, also bought cell phone holders for us, and those will be numbered as well. Those should be getting here early next week. So what the students will do is they'll walk in, they'll drop their cell phone in the coordinating number slot for the desk that they sit in. So say they sit in desk number 3. So they're going to drop their phone in slot number 3. They're going to come back here as soon as they come in the door to our devices, and they're going to grab the iPad out of slot number 3. So you'll notice all of these slots are labeled, and I have a charging cart coming in a few weeks, so once that gets here I'll label those slots. And I also have a organizer for my styluses coming, so they'll grab the iPad out of slot 3, the stylus out of slot 3, and those will be assigned to them. On my personal iPad, I have an alarm clock set to ring 5 minutes before every class period is over, and when that 5 minutes rings, it's time to put our iPads away, our styluses away, and that will give me a few minutes to check and make sure all my devices are back before the bell rings and everybody takes off. So blended learning is really just having kind of an online portal for your classroom. You're still doing live instruction, you're still working with your students, you can lecture, you can do whatever you want, but for me, blended learning is exciting because some of the things I set up will give the kids like immediate feedback rather than me having to jump around and them having to wait until I can get there because I'm only one person. It also gives me immediate feedback on some things that my kids do. So for me, it helps me be so much more efficient. In math especially, I feel like as a teacher, it's really hard to send my kids home with a lot of homework when, if they don't understand the concept, I'm not there to answer questions. And a lot of students can't teach themselves math from a book. And so I want to make myself super available during the class hour so that we can really help them grasp the concepts and maybe give them to them in different ways until they get it. So for me, that's one thing I'm really excited about with blended learning, and Mathematics Vision Project helps me really do that too, and helping kids kind of explore math in a little bit of a different way. So those are some of my reasons for going to blending and for going to MVP. Orientation is going to be a big part of next week. My students have never seen blended learning, and they've just seen little bits of MVP last year. So we're going to spend several days at the beginning of the week. Some of my goals for orientation are really helping them to understand how the new curriculum's set up. What do the different terminologies mean? Those windows to success, those are going to be key to that. My other part of orientation is really helping them understand how we're going to use the devices, what apps we're using, how all of that's going to play together. I get the question all the time, how are you going to do math on an electronic device with all the students' work? And we're actually going to use an app called Educreation, and students can do their work right on their iPad on like a whiteboard situation. Then they just take a screenshot, they upload that to their Google Drive, and they have their assignment to load into whatever portal they're using. And we're using Brain Honey. It also gives me versatility for my kids who still want to use a pencil and paper. They can just take a picture of their work literally with the camera, put that in their Google Drive, and then upload that to whatever portal we're using. So I'm really excited. I think my students are going to be really excited, and I think they're going to teach me a lot. I'm hoping next week my goal is to get through orienting them about the curriculum, orienting them about the new portal and Brain Honey and the devices and the new structures in my classroom, and also getting them into the first lesson, if not finished with the first lesson. So with MVP, every lesson has a task section, which is kind of a real-world application that they work through, and then it has a ready, set, go, which is more of like your typical math problem situation. So excited. We'll see how it goes. That's where I'm headed so far, and I know this vlog's probably been a little longer than most of mine will be, but we will see how it goes. I'm excited for you guys to follow me in the process of what works and what doesn't and what I'm going to learn along the way. I'm so excited. I love to change, and I love to grow, and I love to find the best way to do something, and if that means I have to change to do it, I'm really excited and motivated to do that. So I know this process is going to stretch me, and it's going to make me a better teacher, and it's going to help my students learn in a whole new way that I think is going to be very powerful for them. And I know they're going to be teaching me all along the way too. So I will see you guys again in about a week for my next vlog.